welcome. This is the Bootcamp video for the University Outreach newsletter that you'll be working on as a DME newsletter development intern. So we're going to be looking at two primary, I guess you can call it workspaces that you'll be using besides Slack. First off is the newsletter Google Drive folder. I would contact Dom or someone from the web team to get access into this newsletter folder. But yeah, this is kind of the home base for all of the all the newsletters that interns work on. We have the intern newsletter, the university outreach newsletter, which we'll be discussing, and then vet resources as well. The other platform that you'll be working on as well is the MailChimp account. So we currently have 2 to 3 different MailChimp accounts because we utilize the free version. There's only so many contacts you have. So the university outreach newsletter will be sent from the account that is associated with the newsletter XO email. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can pull it up. Yes. So dmenewsletter.xo@gmail.com is a username. Again, you want to contact Dom or someone from the web team to get the username and the password, and you also need to contact Dom in order to get the code for 2-factor authentication. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's go ahead and familiarize ourselves with the University Outreach newsletter and how it works. So again, this folder is the home of everything University Outreach newsletter oriented. There's quite a few documents that are running around here. I'll walk you through them and highlight the most important ones. So first off, the one that you want to be looking at first is the DME University Outreach newsletter overview. This kind of outlines what the goal and the vision is, how frequently we send it, and then also the different content segments, which I'll show you an example of it when we look at the newsletter itself. Yeah. Reminder of important dates and deadlines always go into a newsletter. We look at 1 or 2 departments at DME, current activities of those departments that we feature, as well as some intern testimonials. And then we have an infographic of professional tips that we include there as well. Going back to our folder, you can go ahead and see, I believe it's this one right here, January to July 2024 schedule. This kind of gives an outline of the content segments that we were talking about and what will go into the newsletter. So for example, again, important dates and deadlines, department overviews, department activities and transferable skills, the intern testimonials from interns who work in that department, and then the professional tips. This is like the content before we got made into an infographic. There's a lot going on here, so I understand it can feel a little overwhelming, but just take your time. Just look at 1 month at a time and kind of see how the month is formatted, and you'll be continuing this kind of format for future months. But yeah, right now this is January all the way to July of 2024. And those infographics that I was mentioning, those professional tips, there's a folder of these infographics that I had made on Canva. I've saved them both as a JPEG and a PDF. They're not currently loading, but yeah, if you create infographics or someone from graphic design makes these, you can go ahead and put them in this folder, professional tip graphics. Another thing of note is the the University Outreach newsletter contact list. So this is a list of contacts at nearly 500 universities that the engagement and retention team had amassed. So as is par for laws and regulations in the US, you need to ensure that the people you are sending newsletters to have opted in to receiving emails. You have to ensure that you get their consent. So what had happened over the spring of 2024 is we had contacted, if I can find out, we contacted all of these contacts at all these schools, right? Whether it's someone from a recruitment coordinator or career services, director of internships, there should be an email address associated with it. And you can see here we've marked which ones have been sent, have had emails sent. And then you can see over here which ones we've received a response for. As you can see, again, not many people have responded to that consent form. So right now we currently only have 6 contacts who have consented to receiving these newsletters. Part of your job that you'll be doing is to ideally expand our subscribers to the University Outreach newsletter. And again, back in this folder, there is a consent email that has been drafted, just kind of giving a blurb of who we are, what are the interns, the internship departments, and the consent message. So yeah, those are a bit of our contacts. This is kind of an overview of what the content is for the newsletter. This right here is just a document, podcast intern testimonials. You can pull intern testimonials from Google form submissions or from the DME podcast you can listen to. And then this is a document just kind of like brainstorming and planning, just there to have it. And then this document right here is like the actual content, like the actual text that goes into MailChimp. So let's go ahead and see this actually be done. Let's go ahead and look into MailChimp. So you're going to go ahead and look at all campaigns. And if you haven't already, please go ahead and watch the bootcamp for the intern newsletter. It will kind of break down a bit more how to use MailChimp. But go ahead and go into campaigns. So I've already gone ahead and uploaded a lot of the newsletters up until, I believe, June or July 2024. But obviously, you're going to have to be creating these new ones, but these are just why these are here. So if you were to create a new campaign, right, you're going to go ahead and hit Create New. You're going to go to Email, and then you are going to use Regular. Don't hit Template. That is my mistake. You're going to do an internal email name, so just how you're going to title it just for your own reference. So we'll go ahead and call this Newsletter Bootcamp for University Outreach. You could also abbreviate that to UO just to save yourself some typing. Right, let that load. Okay, great. So edit recipients. Right now it says all subscribed contacts in the audience DME. Technically it should not be called DME. It should be called the contacts for the University Outreach, but you're going to make sure it's the contacts that are subscribed. So we're going to go ahead and do that. That can stay the way it is. You're going to say you're going to do from VA Digital Media Engagement, but I would go ahead and say it is from dmeinterns@gmail.com. The subject line is going to be, think of something that will kind of elicit someone to open the email, like think newsletter marketing. So an old one that I had done is apply now, government digital media internships. And MailChimp will give you some recommendations on what would be a good subject line as well. On the free version, you can only send it. You can't schedule it to be sent, So you can keep working on it and just hit finish later. And then when it's ready to send, have the newsletter XO or someone in newsletter leadership kind of review and edit it, and they will go ahead and send it. So to the most important task, or what you're going to be doing primarily, you're going to be working on content. So go ahead and click this button that says Design Email. And you're going to be using a template. We've created one, so go ahead and click Saved Templates. And you can wait for it to load. And then there's this one right here that says University Outreach Newsletter. It's already been formatted with, again, just some of the text intern with digital media engagement. There is some preloaded text, which you'll have to change. So for example, for the next internship cycle, it'll be 2025. And then here's the department overview. This month we are featuring blank departments, projects, and you include their projects and transferable skills, and possibly include screenshots or pictures of them. This is the section for the intern testimonials. You'll pull this from the intern introduction and intern spotlight submissions. And then this will be an infographic inserted here. So we'll go ahead and apply it. And we'll go ahead and just build one from scratch so you can kind of see how this works. This is very intuitive. That's what's really great about MailChimp. It's pretty easy to figure out. So let's say we're going to send this for the month of July. So we're going to feature. This month we are featuring. If it'll let me delete it. Okay, so currently it's not working too well, unfortunately. I can't seem to paste it, but ideally you guys won't have that problem. But you kind of get the gist of it, right? I would recommend building the content for your newsletter in like Google Docs into this folder, and then just go ahead and copy and paste it and then format it into MailChimp. So again, text is pretty self-explanatory. If you add an image, you can go ahead and upload an image. And you can also preview it, and then you go ahead and save and exit. Now, since this one wasn't cooperating with us today, we're going to go ahead and look at one that has been mostly finished. And I'll show you how to send it out as well. Right. And again, loading times is kind of on par for working with technology. So let's go ahead and look at April 24 UO newsletter. That's kind of how I like labeling them, but again, tailor it to what you need. So we're going to go ahead and preview it. Again, from VA Digital Media Engagement Internship, DME interns, and then the subject line for this one is Government Opportunities for Social Media and Podcasts. That's what it looks like. All right, as you see, this month we are featuring social media and podcast departments. You can see with this one, I chose to include some colors into it. If you look at the UO newsletter content, you can find those hex codes that I use, just if you wanted to break it up, not just have it all with a white backdrop. But I would recommend keeping in line with the colors that we use at the VA. There's the department overviews. These are the intern testimonials. This is hyperlinked to link back to the podcast that this intern testimonial came from, which is great because then you can inadvertently promote the DME Interns podcast. That's a little note you can do. And then here's this infographic, again, made with Canva, super easy. And then all of these links will link back to the VA. Yeah, that's what it looks like. And again, once that's all sent through and it's overviewed, you can go ahead and hit send. Send now. Right. And there you are. The email is being sent. And you can go ahead and look back to your campaigns. And again, there's limitations with this version of MailChimp because it's free. But you can go ahead and see, go ahead and look at how many opens there are and the clicks, and then the percentage rates of those. So 50% opened, 33.3 clicked. You can go ahead and view the report, which is great, again, for that newsletter marketing experience and kind of looking at data and analyzing it. All right, so let's see the one for February. See how many opened, how many clicked, last opened, if any have been forwarded, clicks per unique opens, and then there's even this little content optimizer. And then top links clicked, and things of that nature. So yeah, that is an overview of the University Outreach newsletter. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to Dom or someone on the newsletter internship team.